there, it's time for my next game review in this new series about the Silverbird Selection, and I decided that I'm going to carry on working through the alphabet with the games. I'm only doing one game per letter, so the last game I did began with B, so you can obviously work out that this game is going to begin with the letter C, the next one will be the letter D, and I'll make my way through the collection like that for as long as I think that's a good way to do it, and then I'll change my mind, or maybe I'll get to the end and go all the way back round and do the same thing again. I haven't really decided yet, but this seemed like a good way to go with things to start with. So the next game I'm going to play is Chickin Chase. As you can see, that's a Silver Range release. Now this game was originally released in 1985 by Firebird on their other packaging that shall not be talked about or discussed in any way, or collected for that matter, because it looks rubbish. So it was in that packaging, it came out in 1985, and then it was reissued in this packaging probably about 86 or 87 I think. Don't have any dates on the packaging unfortunately, so it's a bit difficult to tell when something's been reissued what the date it came out was. So I'm guessing it was probably 86 or 87 that it came out. This game in this packaging is quite uncommon, I think. Don't see too many copies of it on eBay. The other version, the original white and red packaging, that has quite a lot of copies on eBay. So yeah, in this packaging, fairly uncommon. And the price I paid for this game, well, I must have got it as part of a bundle, because on my database I've got this down as costing me 42 pence, making it the cheapest game out of all the Silverbird games I've got so far, and probably it's going to remain that way. Yeah, I don't know what else came in that bundle, but I'm guessing I got a bundle of like 10 games for £5 or something like that, so it worked out at 42 pence per game. So 42p, will it be worth it? Let's take a look. Let's take a look then at the Firebird Silver Range packaging a little bit more closely. This is obviously the first game from this style of packaging that we've seen. So you've got the Silver Range logo and the system name there at the top. You've got a nice big colourful logo there saying Chickin Chase. I like this packaging. It's not the most amazing artwork. You've got what looks like a lady hen bashing a cockerel on the head with a rolling pin while he's reading the newspaper, and there's also a pretty poorly drawn hen house in the background there. So yeah, it's not the greatest artwork, but it is quite a colourful cartoony style cover, which is quite attractive I think. And the spine has the logo on again, as you'd expect. The picture actually wraps around the spine and then onto the back, where you can see a couple of screenshots. That one could be Commodore 64, could be Amstrad. That one I'm pretty sure is Spectrum, based on the lack of colours. And you've got the Telecom logo, the Firebird logo, and then description of the game. Zoutalor, you must defend your earths against all comers, mon ami. So there's a bit of a French influence here. And then it's got the same thing written in a number of different languages. And Zoutalor seems to be pretty consistently across all of them. Presumably one of those is French, possibly the third one. But also, for some reason, on the English version, they've spelt it differently. It's spelt Z-O-O-T. So I don't know why they did that when it's a French word, but there you go. So inside the instruction inlay, we've got a big list of games that are available in the Firebird Silver Range. Commodore 64, Commodore 16, Atari, Spectrum and Amstrad games. What an annoying list though. I mean, they're not in alphabetical order, and they're not even in consistent order between the different systems. So you've got Booty at the top of both those lists there, and then some games on the left there, and you go down, you see Spiky Harold there, but then Spiky Harold on the Spectrum list is like 4th on the list. So yeah, that's really annoying for the OCD ones among us, I'm sure. So moving on, there's then on the inside we've got, hey there, are you in the in crowd, or have you joined the in crowd? Are you a member of the Silver Club? So there's an advert here to join the Silver Club, which is some kind of club where you'd get badges, stickers, posters, newsletters, exclusive membership number, and your own membership card, and a free silver game, all for $1.99. So that's quite reasonable. Obviously it's a marketing ploy. I wonder if I'm going to find an inlay at some point where this has either been filled in or cut off completely. So that'll be interesting to see as we go along in this new series. So onto the instructions, you can see Chickin Chase is copyright Jorks 1985, which presumably is a developer, and then it's got a description of how to play the game, and in summary, it seems to have been translated from French, so I'm guessing this originated in France. And it's basically, you're playing a cockerel, you've got to defend the chicken house against enemies. eat to keep up his strength, and also he's got to honour the requests of Madame, which presumably means the lady hen. So you've got to fight hedgehogs, rats, stoats, snakes and other terrible beasts that are so fond of the earth. So that's French for eggs if you didn't know. And you can also replenish your energy. And then it's got the loading instructions and the controls there at the bottom, which is joystick import 2 traditionally, and also there's some keyboard controls. And here we have the loading screen for this game. Pretty simplistic. It's just got a massive Firebird software logo, the word loading, and presumably that says Jawks on it, which was the developer done like a shark, like Jaws. So after a small rendition of the French national anthem, we get this title screen here, which is nicely done. Nice cartoony image there of the rooster winking at you, which is quite nicely done, I think. And then you go into a rolling demo of how to play the game. It's a very arcade game style presentation, I think. It's got the attract mode, it's got the demo, and when the demo ends you'll see a high score table as well. So very much like an arcade game. What you can see from this demo is that the graphics are very chunky. I think they're quite nicely done, quite cartoony style, but they are those big sort of expanded Commodore 64 sprites, which some people aren't a fan of, mainly Spectrum owners. So there's a high score table in a fetching shade of brown. So I'll get started with the game, and to begin with I'm going to show you how not to play it, because that's how I found out how to play it, was how not to play it first. So you start off and you go into the hen house, and then you come back out again, and the lady hen goes off and lays an egg, and you've got to protect that egg. I'm going to show what happens if you don't protect the egg. This hedgehog comes along and eats it, and the lady hen will come out, bash you on the head with a rolling pin. Don't know why there's a hen with a rolling pin. And there you go, and then you lose a life and the thing repeats. What's interesting is the score is always accumulating, so the longer you last, the bigger score you get, and then that score gets topped up with pecking enemies. As you can see, when you peck the enemy and runs away, you get like 400 points or something like that. And you also get points for the worm that pops up that you can peck that gives you extra points. And I'm not sure what else you get points for, but we'll find out as we go along. So basically all I'm doing at the moment is protecting this egg. And if you see the rooster's getting slower and slower each time he pecks at an enemy. What you have to do is actually eat the seed over here, and then you'll start to speed up again. So you can see the chick hatched and went back into the hen house, and the lady hen, I don't want to call it a lady hen, they're just hens. The hen comes out, bashes you on your head again, and like, well, what's going on there? Surely that's how you complete a level. Well, it turns out it's not. So there's that worm I was talking about. What I'm going to do is just kill myself off fairly quickly, and then show you how to really play it. Just put my name in there. So as you've seen, there's a few gameplay mechanics there that we've covered. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to play the game properly, and the key thing that allows longevity in the game. So it took me a few goes to work out what you're supposed to do here, but I'll try and demonstrate, well, I will demonstrate it. So once again, the hen comes out, lays the egg, fend off the hedgehogs, top up on seed when need be, when you get a chance. What we actually need to do is go back in the hen house and mate with the hen again. And what will happen is, in a few seconds, she'll come out and lay another egg. So now you've got 2 eggs to protect. And again, if you go in the hen house, You see the little heart light up at the top there. And that's when you've mated, so then you can come back out of the hen house. But the one significant thing is, I might mess this up now, but when you've got more than one egg on the screen, you don't lose a life when the enemies take the last egg. Basically, as long as you've got at least 2 eggs, then you're safe from being losing a life. Unfortunately, I didn't time that very well, and I ended up losing the last egg and lost a life, but you get the idea. Those worms give you a silly amount of bonus points. So you can see the hedgehogs go away and they're replaced with mice, I think these probably are. So you've always got to have 2 eggs really to be able to survive, because if you've only got 1 egg and the egg hatches and goes back to the hen house, then the hen comes out and whacks you, which is no good. I don't know what that's supposed to be, maybe a ferret or something? So basically, you've got this risk-reward mechanism where you've got to balance up between fending off the enemies, impregnating the hen, topping up on seed, snake. Yeah, I'm in trouble again here now. He's going to get back before I get out of here, I think. Yeah, I messed that up again. So that's pretty much it for the game. I mean, there's no levels as such. It goes on forever, I think. There's no different screens or anything like that. It's just fend off the enemies, get as big a score as you can, and have a lot of sex with the lady hen, which is an interesting game mechanic, not something I've come across before. But yeah, I quite like it. It's a fun game. It's just my kind of game actually. It's a simple concept, but there's some quite, you know, relatively for the age of the game, quite deep gameplay mechanics, and it's quite chaotic. It's a high score game, arcade style, quite a unique, very unique premise. So all in all, I think gameplay wise, it's quite a good game, even though it's quite simplistic. Graphics wise, as I've said, it's quite chunky graphics, but I do like them. They're quite cartoony. They're not amazing, and I couldn't give them too high a rating as a result of that, but I do think they're quite nice graphics. They suit the game. The chicken and the rooster I think are quite decent. The other, oh, this has gone bad now. Yeah, there goes my last lie. I think the chicken and the rooster are quite nicely animated. Some of the other enemies are not great, so that was the end of that. I have done better. I might give it another go while I'm still talking about it. Sound wise, it's pretty basic as well. The tunes are very simple. They're not good SID tunes by any means. And the sound effects, well, you've got the sound effect of pecking and fighting off the enemies gives a pretty annoying sound. So yeah, the sound's not really brilliant. It's all about the gameplay really. I think it's a really fun, challenging game. It gets more challenging as more enemies come on the screens. The snakes in particular are very fast. I messed this up again now. It's not going well at all. So yeah, there's not much more to say about it really. Fun game, enjoyable to play, just my kind of game basically. It won't be for everyone, it is simplistic, but sometimes the simple games can provide quite a good challenge, and in this case I think that's very much the case. So we should probably do some scoring, as there's not much else to say about it. Needless to say, I do think it was worth the 42p I paid for it, and I also think it would have been worth the £1.99 asking price as well. Oh wow, I've been there for 2 sessions now and lost track of time. Unfortunately I lost a life there. I wonder what happens if you get in there twice, whether she lays 2 eggs. I want to try that out now. Even though this wasn't a very good game generally, I actually want to see what happens if you stay in there for 2 sessions, shall we say. It might be difficult to do. I think that was only 1. Need to stock up on some seed now as well. Right, let's give this a try. Right, okay, so there's 2 there. Oh, he's just eaten the egg just as the other one's hatched. What a disaster. That's me, game over now. Okay, forget it. I'm intrigued, but I don't think we need to see another playthrough of the game really. So let's give it some scores and round off this review. So for packaging, I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. I think the packaging was quite decent. Presentation, I really like that arcade style presentation with the attract mode and everything in the high score table. So I'm going to go for 7. Graphics, not amazing. Functional, kind of cute looking, but a bit blocky. So I'm going to go 5 out of 10 for graphics. Sound is the worst of the game, worst element of the game. And I'm going to go with 4 out of 10 for the sound. Again, it's functional, but not much more. And playability, I'm going to go with 7 out of 10. I think it's a really fun playable game. It's probably not going to provide hours and hours of fun. It's a pick up and play for half an hour and then leave it for a bit. Maybe have a high score competition with your friends you might have done back in the 80s when you were playing it. But yeah, it's not really got much longevity about it, but it is a fun game nonetheless. So that gives it an overall score of 6.6. And as I said, I do think it's worth the $1.99 asking price easily. So I decided to have a quick retry of the game, and as you can see, if you do stay in the little hen house for a longer period of time, the hen then does come out and lay more eggs. So that proves that that is another element of the game where there's more risk reward, where you get more eggs coming out at the same time, and obviously that helps you sustain basically extra lives effectively, because every egg works almost as an extra life. So that's pretty much it for the review. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you've got any comments about the game, if you remember playing it when you were a kid and you liked it, then leave us a comment. And I'll see you again soon for my next game review, which, as I said, will begin with the letter D.